The man had just descended on the zipline, unaware that his safety rope was beginning to tear. He was still enjoying himself immensely, having the time of his life, until he was halfway down. Only then did he notice something was wrong. He quickly grabbed the steel cable above him, stopping midair, but by then it was too late. The man was terrified. He immediately clamped his legs around the cable and shouted loudly for help. By the time the safety officer arrived, the man was already exhausted. Seeing the situation, the officer had no choice but to grip him tightly with his legs, but they couldn't hold on for even 2 seconds before the man completely lost his strength. Krelna, the man's wife, witnessed everything and quickly asked staff to call an ambulance while she ran down the slope. Using reference points along the cable, she found the approximate location where her husband had fallen. She then called his phone and, following the ringtone, quickly found her husband barely clinging to life. Strangely, after loading her husband into the ambulance, the medical staff refused to let Krelna board with them. Since they were vacationing in a foreign country, Krelna couldn't understand what they were saying. Not wanting to delay her husband's treatment, she had no time to think it through and only took a hospital business card before urging them to leave immediately. Krelna then hopped on a motorcycle and followed closely behind the ambulance. But halfway there, a car suddenly darted out in front of her. Unable to dodge in time, she crashed hard to the ground. By the time she got back on her feet, the ambulance had vanished. Everything seemed as if someone was deliberately manipulating events. Sure enough, when Krelna arrived at the hospital, the receptionist told her that no one had been brought in recently. Krelna was stunned. She checked several other hospitals but found no trace of her husband. She rushed to the police station to file a report, but they only had her fill out a form and told her to go home and wait for news. At that moment, Krelna felt utterly helpless in this foreign land. Soon her husband's family arrived as well. The next day, Krelna met with the police chief. To provide more clues, she brought everyone to meet with the zipline staff. Surprisingly, the staff claimed they had never seen the couple before. Krelna was shocked and angry. The situation was becoming increasingly mysterious. What's more, after returning home, her husband's wealthy father publicly questioned Krelna's integrity. It turned out he had always opposed his son's marriage to Krelna, believing she was only after the family fortune. He suggested that his son's disappearance might have been carefully orchestrated by Krelna herself. After hearing this, Krelna was speechless but stood her ground and fought back.
I don't give a shit about your finances, Mr. Grant. But I love your son.
She finally understood that these so-called family members couldn't be relied upon. If that was the case, she would have to find her husband on her own. After all, as a former Special Forces member, she was no ordinary vulnerable woman, and her first target would be that zipline staff member.